The promotion of safety on a railroad is a community affair. It takes leadership, supervision, and the full cooperation of the employees. No one wants to meet with an accident, but each year many employees are the victims of avoidable accidents. There is a right and a safe way to do your job. There are many wrong and risky ways to do it. Get in the habit of doing everything in the right and safe way. Mr. Carman, always look in both directions to make sure there are no cars or engines coming your way before stepping on or fouling adjoining tracks. You, young man, are surely carrying signals for the ambulance. Never walk on a track if it can be avoided. When getting off moving cars, don't foul the adjoining track. If you have to cross tracks and work around moving cars and engines, you'll find the job as safe as you make it, no safer. An X should mark this spot. One of our men was killed here, going around the end of a car, as this man is doing. There are several ways to do a job, but there is only one right and safe way. Here, a trainman working with an engineer stops to line over a switch located on the fireman's side. Then he gives the fireman a back-up sign and starts to cross the track. It's all wrong and bad practice and dangerous. Watch this man do the same job the right and safe way. After he lines over the switch, he does not give a signal until he is back on the engineer's side. That's good railroading. Don't step on the rail. That's dangerous. Sometimes you'll see a man on the opposite side of the track from the switch stand wait until the movement is well underway, then hurry across the track directly in front of the engine to get to the switch. What would have happened if he'd slipped? This scene shows the same crew doing the same job successfully and safely, taking no chances. He didn't have to run across because he was on the right side, the safe side. Here's another thing. Don't cross tracks in front of moving cars. This man was trying to get to the switch and didn't make it. What a chance for injury. If you work in a railroad yard, always look both ways before stepping on or fouling a track. The cars can't look out for you. Make your slogan, look both ways and live. Coupling up air hose can be done safely. Carmen are protected by blue signals. Trainmen and yardmen normally do not have this protection. They must be alert. Here is a young man trying to couple up the air hose with his knee resting on the rail. He is not in a position to get away quickly if the cars begin moving. His foreman is telling him always to keep on his toes so that he can move quickly if the unexpected should happen. Operating switches carelessly accounts for many injuries. Watch this operation of a ground throw switch. Wow! A painful shock, but it should never have happened. Why not do as this man is doing and prevent such needless foot injuries? Take hold of the ball of the switch lever and keep your feet back sufficiently to clear it. This is a Ramapo switch stand. On mainline switches, they are equipped with a lock. On inside switches, they are equipped with a hook. After using, if equipped with a hook, see that the hook is put in place. If equipped with a lock, make sure the lock is put back into the staple of the switch and locked. This is important. And always take time to see that the switch point fits tightly against the stock rail. Getting on and off cars and engines improperly is one of the most prevalent causes of injuries. When stepping off the leading footboard of a moving engine, always swing off the end, clear of the footboard and pilot beam, as this man is doing. Too often we see employees stepping off directly in front of the engine on the end of the ties. This is wrong. Too frequently they are caught by the footboard when the engine drifts upon them. Again, you see the right and safe way to perform this act. Swing off the end, clear of the footboard and pilot beam. Play safe. This looks like a setup with the boys engaged in conversation and out of position. The foreman doesn't realize that he's at the yard office until the last moment and drops off between the rails. No chance to see what kind of footing. Evidently, it wasn't too good. He must have profited by his experience, for here he is standing at the end of the footboard looking carefully at the ground conditions before alighting. But don't step on the rail, that's bad too. Here's one of our old employees coming down the gangway facing out. Note the unsafe position of his heel on the step. He's also carrying his grip. There are a number of men injured each year doing this sort of thing, coming down from engine cabs the wrong way. Now an officer tells him to come down the steps facing the engine. His foot rests securely on the step when he comes down the right way. When he gets to the last step, he reaches up, gets his grip, and steps to the ground. You can see how much safer this is. Employees dismounting from cars or engines should always take time to look over the ground conditions where they are going to alight. The management desires to keep the property in good physical condition. There are bound to be times, as in this case, when there are obstructions that might cause a fall or a sprained ankle. Boarding trains carrying handbags which do not permit the free use of both hands is unsafe. Arrangements can and should be made to get handbags on the train before starting. These trainmen should have spread out so that both of them could board the rear end of the caboose. Flat cars and tank cars are not as well designed for boarding or alighting from as house cars. Occasionally, you will see employees getting on these cars when there is no reason to do so. Sitting on the flat car or running board of a tank car might be more comfortable than standing on the sill step. But for your safety, always get on the car that has the best facilities for boarding. In keeping with a long-established custom, the engineer is climbing out through the cab window with his oil can in one hand, using the narrow ledge, which is for emergency use only, to reach the running board. This has proven a dangerous practice and has caused serious injuries. It has been forbidden for years. Here an officer stops the engineer and directs him to do the job in the right way. There are good, safe facilities for getting down from the engine the correct way, as well as good steps and handholds on the front end of the engine for getting up onto the running board. Why not do the job the safe way? We have illustrated all falling accidents with fair weather scenes. As the most northerly railroad in the United States, we have our full share of sleet, snow, and icy conditions, which increase the hazard of getting on and off cars and engines and the chance of slipping and falling. Heavier clothing retards freedom of action. Care should be used to wear the safest type of clothing for the work to be done. Be especially careful of your footwear to avoid unnecessary slipping. Remember, when you have your cap pulled down over your ears and your coat collar turned up, your ability to hear is restricted, making it necessary to do a better job of looking. Your eyes are your best protection. Remember, too, metal cars under these conditions are slippery. Here a hostler is getting off an engine which just came in from Winnipeg. Sub-zero weather. There is bound to be snow and ice on steps and elsewhere under such weather conditions, which requires that greater care be used. This hostler, however, was able to get down from the cab and get back again without mishap. We even experience slippery conditions during the summer months due to rains. Again, these conditions necessitate men wearing clothing suitable for the occasion. Accidents due to slipping and falling and getting on and off cars and engines can best be prevented by the individuals involved. we should all consider our ability and be mindful of our limitations. As we grow older, we become less active, especially in getting on and off cars and engines. Always consider ground conditions. Is it daylight or dark? How are we dressed? Are we wearing only safe clothing? If you are required to get on and off cars, knee-length coats are preferable. They give you freer knee action. Is the speed too great for safety? Or does our physical condition require slower speed? If so, play safe. Think first. Our management has eliminated literally thousands of restricted clearances in the past few years and intends to do so wherever it's possible. Employees should remember these are hazards common to every railroad. They were all here when we came and asked for the job, none having been built in recent years. We must familiarize ourselves with their location, as we agreed to do when we signed the application for employment, and use the care necessary to avoid injury. Here is the restricted clearance that employees create themselves. There is no worse trap one employee can set for another than to leave cars just barely in the clear. Always shove cars in on a track a sufficient distance to provide full clearance. The man riding the head end of this cut wasn't looking in the direction the cars were moving. He would certainly have been caught had the foreman not observed the condition and stopped the movement. This alert foreman saved the man from injury. Employees pulling pins are occasionally seen stepping in between cars, as this man is doing, in an attempt to uncouple them. He is being told by his foreman that such practice is forbidden and dangerous. If for any reason you can't get the pin in the car with the pin lifter on your side, stop the movement, cross over, and use the pin lifter on the other car. Here a pin puller is trying to get the knuckle open before making the next cut. Can you think of anything more dangerous than backing up in front of a moving car? If you slip or trip, you haven't a gambler's chance. To open the knuckle, wait until the car is stopped, then open it. The accidents discussed have been train service accidents. Now let's talk about train accidents. Trainmen, especially engine men, must be alert to the need of complying with all speed restrictions, regardless as to whether they are provided by speed control signs, train orders, special instructions, bulletins, flags, or signal indications. Here is a 35-mile speed restriction sign placed because of an 8-degree curve. The important thing for engine men to understand is that excessive speed is considerably more hazardous on sharp 8 to 10-degree curves than it is on flatter curves, such as 2 or 3 degrees. Observe all speed restrictions. If there is to be any variation, have it on the safe side and never exceed the maximum allowable speed. There is no point in taking unnecessary risks. It gets us all into a lot of trouble. Let's all do our part to make this a safer and better place to work. Know your rules and observe them. Keep in mind that safety is of the first importance in the discharge of duty.